Check, check. Alright, guys. Y'all missed a lot of awesome shit. Check, check, check. Alright, guys. Y'all missed a lot of awesome shit. Hey, guys. Thanks for checking in. Sorry about the audio. Y'all missed a lot of awesome shit. I guess I'm going to have to start over for like...
Hey, guys. Thanks for checking in.
The third time.
Sorry about the audio. Y'all missed a lot of awesome shit. I guess I'm gonna have to start over for like... Hey guys, thanks for checking in.
The third time.
Sorry about the audio. Y'all missed a lot of awesome shit.
Clear out this echo. Alright, I still got, what, 2 of you guys around? That's cool. Tech 56. Joseph Dunphy probably left. That's cool. I don't blame him. This bullshit. Thread over here, like, spreading all this wisdom and stuff, and y'all can't even fucking hear it. I hope you can read lips. Behind a microphone. Motherfucker. Alright. Let's see, I got in the description a show of hands, right? I think what I was asking was like, if you're a content creator and you don't want to show your face, you know, you never show any kind of live video or anything, that's cool. But I was hoping maybe you guys could like at least show your hands and your fingernails, and maybe we can get kind of an idea of about your manual side, you know, your hands or your manual side, manly shit. You know, show that you have man hands. Let's let the other MGTOW men out here see your hands and let us know that you don't have like long glued on fingernails with fingernail paint or something like that. But I think that's just clickbait. Like, I really want to talk about two specific words. And guys, I think I've been talking about these two specific words already for like well over an hour, and the audio wasn't on. But the words are understanding and being able to understand versus relation and relating to something, like the similarities between the two words and the differences between the two words of understanding and being able to relate. You know, that's actually a phrase, right? Being able to relate and understanding is just one word. So that's one of the differences, right? Like, understanding is one word and being able to relate to something is a phrase. But I think if you can relate to something, that you also can understand it. You know, like there's a certain amount of understanding that comes with being able to relate to something. But if you can't relate to something, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can understand it, right? Like, you can be outside of a circumstance or a situation, and you can look at it from the outside and you can understand it, and you know, you may have an imagination where you can kind of like see another person's perspective, but you really can't relate to it because you didn't see what they saw, you didn't hear what they heard, and you weren't in the situation that they can relate to, and so you know, all of this can cause some conflict. Like, if you have a group of people that can relate to something, but there's a whole nother group of people outside that can't relate to it, but they understand it, then it can be difficult to find common ground, and it can cause a little bit of meaningless conflict, because there's a lot of things out there that I see circumstances and situations that people go through, and even though I may not be able to relate to them because I didn't necessarily go through those circumstances or situations, I can understand it. I can sort of put myself in their shoes. I mean, I know that I may not have the feelings and that emotions that comes with actually being there and having to dealing with those circumstances and situations, but I can kind of understand it. Like when in doubt, MGTOW was out there, and he's a single father, and he's completely and totally responsible, and he has all the authority over his children. He faces consequences and repercussions of things he says and the things he does. And I can't relate to that. I've never had that authority. I have some of the responsibility that he has in my own life, but I can't relate to him because I wasn't granted custody of my child. But I can kind of understand it. Like I can imagine myself being in a situation where not only do I have to go to work and produce and be responsible and bring home the bacon sort of also, but also have to trust other folks. If I was when in doubt MGTOW, I would have to trust. I can't bring my children to work with me, so he can't either, I'm sure, and he has to have a certain amount of trust with other people to oversee his children while he goes out and be productive. I'm not sure this is exactly his situation, but this is what's happening in my imagination, and I try to have understanding of what it would be like for me. So, without going too far off into a tangent, if you guys want to relate something to me or open my eyes to something that I might be missing about these two words, understanding or in the phrase being able to relate to something, I appreciate it. I do not mind criticism. Whatever kind of criticism you guys want to give me is fine. I appreciate criticism. I don't like to be wrong about things. If I back up an argument and I'm wrong, I want to be held accountable. And I don't necessarily take a consensus view on things. Like, just because the majority of people believe a certain thing doesn't necessarily make it true. But I need logical arguments to back up a statement or a truth. If you have a truth that's true to you, I don't want to just hear that's your perspective and it's true for you. I mean, you have to use some sort of probable cause, I believe, is the legal viewpoint of the situation. Like if you're a lawyer or a judge, you want to see probable cause. It may not be video footage. It may not be a audio recording of what happened. It may just be a testimony from another individual. But there are a lot of things that can lead up to probable cause, and those things are usually called evidence. And evidence isn't exactly proof, right? So all you really have is evidence and probable, that points to probable cause. It's really difficult to prove the existence of God, and it's very difficult to prove the Big Bang Theory. These things are based on faith, and there are logical arguments on both sides to probable cause of how we got here and whatnot. I think that's like a really deep way of talking about how if you want to influence me or change my mind about something or change my perspective or my opinion or my understanding of something, you're going to have to use some logic and some evidence and some probable cause. You know, you just can't use emotion. You can't just come to Derek and or John or Joe or any other guy and just start being emotional and passionate. Passion doesn't prove truth. You can really believe something and be very passionate about it, and it may not actually be a fact. It may not actually be true. So, you know, I'm pretty quiet most of the time. I'll let I'll let the I'll let the gentlemen that I associate with, you know, go back and forth and share their ideas and get emotional with each other and have their banter and stuff. But you know, I want you guys to show your hands and you know, be real and keep an open mind. There are things that I'm not sure about. I'm not very passionate about. I could be swayed one way or the other, and on the other hand, there are certain things that you cannot change my mind about. These are things that I've seen evidence to probable cause that you cannot defeat. You know, these are very specific things. I know myself very well. I know that I do not have many false memories. There's this thing called the Mandela effect out there, and when I first heard about it, you know, I was like, wow, this is fascinating. And there may be specific instances of the Mandela effect that I haven't really delved into very much. But when I first got into it, there was one specific thing that I delved into, and I did some research, and I was like, you know what? As much as somebody's trying to convince me of this Mandela effect stuff, I actually do not have a false memory in this situation. And so I just kind of blew the whole thing off. I'm just like, you know, I might delve back into it at some point, but you know, to me, the things that I see and hear and perceive, I don't have a lot of false memories. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. I don't believe I've been easily misled in the past where I can't see that. Like, I have been misled in the past. I have been naive. I have been lied to, and I did believe things that weren't true. But I know what those things are now. And there may be some things that I've been lied to about in the past, and I don't think they're important. Like, there may be some things that I still believe that are lies, things that aren't true. But on a scale of importance, those things are probably just low priority things. They just really don't matter that much. So I've reached this point in my life where, you know, I have a foundation for existence. I no longer search for approval from women as much as I used to. And you know, I would like a certain more of appreciation, acceptance, and camaraderie with other men, but I also understand their perspective, and so I don't expect too much from actual guys that I, you know, work with or associate with. You know, I just don't have a lot of high expectations, but you know, just because men are men, they're more respectable. You know, they're out there dealing with the same things that I deal with, the hardships of life. And they even unconsciously show me more respect than I even expect sometimes. And I automatically show respect to other guys out there. And I'll even make excuses for some of these millennials out there. I mean, they're just completely duped about so many things, and they're so naive. And it's not completely their fault. You know, they've been dealing with circumstances and situations that I never had to deal with. I had a father, you know, and he was masculine. He wasn't a tall man. He wasn't a brilliant man. He wasn't good with money, but he had masculine qualities. He could get shit done. He worked really hard. And I had that. And a lot of guys that are in their 30s today never had a father. Their experiences with men were few and far between. And you know, they're out there trying to make it in the real world, and it's extremely difficult without being even understanding that they have this foundation, that if they just developed it and knew how to develop it, that they could walk confidently among devils and demons without fear. But they're just so misled and indoctrinated down the wrong path. And it's biochemistry too. The biochemistry that these young fellows are being subjected to, and they just have no idea. And I mean, I could let it stress me out. I could get really upset and passionate about the evils that are taking place. But, you know, Atlas shrugged. The weight of the world is not on my shoulders. You know, Jordan Peterson is out there, and he's doing his lecture series on the philosophical or psychological significance of the Bible. And he's still in the Old Testament. If you stay stuck in the Old Testament, I believe you may be possibly distracting people from the importance of how each individual doesn't have to pay the price for the world. I think the point of the New Testament is that Jesus paid the price. Okay? And I don't know how you can just keep going back into the Old Testament, or just trying to start there and, like, you know, draw the whole thing out. I think you should the new covenant should be the starting point, and then if you want to go back into the older stuff, you can. There's a lot of wisdom in the older stuff and in the Old Testament, but there's a ton of MGTOW stuff in the Old Testament. You know, there's an explanation of human nature, male and female, good and bad in the Old Testament. But also, I think one of the main points of the New Testament is that if you want to pay a price for your sins in this world, after you know that that price has already been paid for you, then that's entirely up to you. But you don't have to pay the price for others. You're not responsible for everyone else. You're only responsible for your life. And a lot of things are clouded for men these days. Like, there's like smoke and mirrors all over the place for men and boys. We are living in a society and a system that trains our brains, and we're programmed to think that we are evil, and that we are born bad, and women are born good, and little girls are born good, and that men are selfish, and we're mean, and we don't care about other people. But it's so easy for them because it's projection. All they have to do is look at themselves honestly and then project that onto us. It's like the simplest, easiest road to go down. If you're like a soulless, selfish creature and you want to be treated to everything by others so that you don't have to do anything, you don't have to worry about anything. You just want to be fed and sheltered and protected and dance around in fields with butterflies. Just project all your selfishness on other people. Blame them for being just like you, even when you don't have anything to back it up. And it works like fucking magic on men. Men and boys we do care. We are empathetic. Our hearts do feel love. We do want to provide and protect these fucking leeches. You know? And they're just so selfish. Like from the time they're born until the time they die, women will manipulate relationships and situations for their advantage. The whole fucking time. Will absolutely not self-sacrifice at all. It's like it goes so much against their nature. And men, it's the complete opposite. It's like when we really shouldn't, for our own self-respect and our own dignity and our own self-worth and for our own good, we will still sacrifice. Why do we do this? It's because we aren't, we're not given red pills. Women aren't giving out red pills to boys. And our fathers are being removed from our lives. So our fathers aren't there to red pill us. And hell, shit, most fathers today aren't red pilled. And people wonder why I'm a nihilist. I think I'm fairly cheerful. As bad as things are, I think I keep a pretty good attitude. I smoke cigarettes. I probably shouldn't. I'm out here in front of you guys, influencing you and smoking cigarettes. But I know you guys have your vices too. So, I don't even know how long I've been on. I haven't been reading your guys' comments at all. I guess I'm kind of a dick that way. Alright, I think Joseph left. Bob may be still here. Thanks for checking in with me, Bob. Mr. Forma, hell yeah. MGTOW Reaper, I see you a lot out there. Steve Hoka, my bowling buddy. When we going bowling, Steve? No, that brings up another thing with MGTOW thread is I think what's missing from MGTOW YouTube is like MGTOW dudes actually videotaping themselves doing shit with each other, like I don't know, competing at the firing range, like not necessarily seeing who can hit the center of the target the best or anything, but like who's getting better at shooting the target. Like I have 2 firearms, and I've never squeezed the trigger on either one of them. I have lots of ammo. I'm just kind of waiting for like some camaraderie to go to the firing range. It's like I'm pretty sure I'm a pretty good shot without even having tried. But I don't really want to go get better at shooting my pistol or my rifle without someone there to see it, you know. It's like what good is it if there's nobody there to see it? And I want to see somebody else getting better at shooting their firearm. And if I could help you bowl better, that would be fucking awesome. You know, if there's something you can teach me about bowling, if you see something in my technique of bowling that I don't see, and you can tell me and help me get better at bowling, I would fucking love that. And I would love to do the same for you. But fuck, us MGTOW are so few and far between. We're fucking spread out as hell. I don't, you know, I know there's probably at least 6 other MGTOW in somewhere near, you know, driving distance in the area where I live, but I don't know. I don't know what they're afraid of. All I want to do is go bowling, talk about the fair tax. I'm not trying to get anybody's channel shut down or anything. Hell, I promote channels I don't even agree with. Angry used to make me laugh, like out of all of the MGTOW and all the wisdom that I used to get from these guys, at least he made me laugh, you know. I was like, that's fucking funny as shit. I don't know what road he went down to, you know, to create so much drama and so much bullshit. I don't really pay attention to him much anymore. But, yeah, there was a lot of talk about Angry. Probably more than he deserved, but I don't know. I think I kind of saw him as like he was filling in his position, his spot in the process of new guys coming along, and I think a lot of guys do that. Like they get their niche on things that they can focus on, and it's usually about the bad side of female nature. A lot of guys find that fairly easy to do when they make videos. They can search on the internet for some typical stupid female that did something fucked up because of her evil female selfish nature, and they're just like, oh yeah, I can fucking rip this chick to shreds, you know. It's fucking easy. And then the ones that are out there, like, that seem to be red-pilled and shit, like, they sort of seem to know what's going on. It's easy to cut them up too, right? Because they're all, like, you know, conservative and stuff, and they seem to be fairly red-pilled, at least as far as politics go, but they still won't talk about the fucking bottom line. They still won't talk about the problem. I mean, the conservative tradcon women out there, they're not talking about, they don't get to the point of the matter that there's this gynocentric system that's forced upon males at the point of a gun. Why don't they go right there? Why do they got to keep swatting at the leaves on the tree when the root's right there at their feet? The root of the problem is, you know, there's group preferences. Women just automatically defend other women. And then because of, you know, that's because of their human nature, their selfish human nature. And then men have our own you know, we have our own selfish human nature to protect the women. And so, you know, there's this group of privileged beings out there, and everybody wants to take care and provide for them, and so of course men get left out. And that's the system that is built because it's easy. It's so much easier for men to protect women than it is to protect other men. I mean, we're told, and it's instilled in us to compete with each other. It's not instilled in you guys to compete with yourself and become a better yourself and do better than you did yesterday for you. I mean, sometimes they try to use that for them, like, I need you to be a better you for me. But what about being a better you for you? That's not something you hear a lot. You know, men aren't supposed to be that selfish. But I think you guys really need to be a better you for you because of the system. If you don't have a good reason, like if you don't really, like, there's no dreams that you have left, you forgot about all of the things that you wanted to do, the daydreams that you had when you were a child, you forgot about all that shit, and they fucking practically destroyed your soul. I mean, now you have a new calling, right? You can be a better you for you to at least to mitigate and minimize some of the um, hardships that come with living in this system. I think that's why MGTOW is a thing. While there is a small group of guys following this philosophy, is because we do care about each other, and we do want other men to be better themselves for themselves, to reduce the pain and suffering that comes with being a man and under this system. I mean, I accept that I'm a slave, but I've also been homeless before. I know what it's like to go for long periods of time without taking a shower and without sleeping in a bed. And, you know, these are a couple of things that I really appreciate now. And I'm doing quite well for myself. You know, I'm wearing an expensive robe. I've got a nice laptop, headphones, microphone. I've been addicted to nicotine for a really long time. I don't want to live forever. I'm not afraid to die. And I'm not saying everybody has to be just like me or agree with me on things. And I actually like debate, you know. I really do. I wish there was a little bit more discord sometimes. We're all like cheering each other on with our you know, wow, we have another fellow here that's got some understanding of the dark side of females. Well, that's great, but there's so much more. There's so much more out there. There's so much more within each individual man. Their ideas and creativeness that comes from other dudes that they can share. And so show your hand, show your creativity, go bowling with other MGTOW, and do some research on the fair tax. I think the system would take a big hit, and men could take a win. We could check off a box if we only paid taxes when we want to. It's a national sales tax that completely ends the IRS. All of those people will have to find new jobs. There's a lot to it. Every time I talk to a person to person about the fair tax, and they've heard about it and they might have a little bit of understanding about it, they just tell me it will never happen, and then they'll call me a nihilist, which is fine. I understand their pessimism, but you know, I would definitely enjoy it and appreciate it if like at least one MGTOW decided to back me up on the fair tax and started supporting it on his channel too. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys out there that have a lot more influence than I do. You know, Sandman like brought up the fair tax and be like, holy shit. Fucking things are getting better. Changes are being made. But I think the cards are stacked against us. The system is in place. It's extremely effective. The smoke and mirrors are just unbelievably effective. I I'm curious about crazy fucking ideas if you got them. But, don't try to convince me that the earth is flat. I know the earth is flat in some places, but I have eyes to see, and I know that the earth is a spherical ellipsoid, so. But, I'll entertain shit. I'll entertain conspiracy theories. I think there's a lot more to some of them than others. But I try to be realistic about conspiracy theories. I think there's a lot of so-called conspiracy theories that are actually real conspiracies. And I like to talk about them as a real conspiracy and not a theory. Because if you're talking about it like it's a theory, then you're not quite sure. You don't really have enough evidence. You haven't done your research. So, anyway, I guess I'm getting kind of long here. I've gone off on a lot of tangents. I probably need to shoot about 200 different videos. But I'm a pretty busy guy trying to make enough money to take showers and have a bed to sleep in. So, peace and joy to you, brothers. Peace and joy to you and yours. I am going to call it quits for the night. Peace out.